Did you know that according to Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development or OECD, na ang financial literacy rate here in the Philippines is just 30%. That is actually very low in comparison to other Asian countries na karatig bansa natin. Now, the key challenges kung bakit ganun yung Pilipinas, it's because of the cultural attitudes. Hindi tayo yung tipo ng tao na pinag-uusapan yung finances natin. And the more na hindi pinag-uusapan ng isang bagay, mas bumababa yung literacy rate niya. Kasi nga, hindi niya nalalaman kung ano yung dapat gawin. Next is limited access to services. So, ibig sabihin, may mga tao talaga na hindi natatouch ng mga financial advisors to educate them at hindi naman to tinuturo sa school. So, maraming mga tao talaga medyo confused sa mga bagay pagdating sa financial literacy. And then, low income. Maraming mga tao na intindihan nila yung financial literacy but at the end of it, hindi sila makapagplano ng maayos because anong paplanuhin nila kung yung pera na kinikita nila enough lang para sa mga gastos nila. And then the last is complexity of products. Kasi yung mga terminologies na ginagamit pagdating sa financial advising might seem very alien to some kasi hindi nga common na pinag-uusapan. So, very intimidating yung concept ng mga different financial plans sa kanila. Kaya, mas mabuting hindi na nila pinaplano yung kanilang finances. But at the bottom of it, hindi yun excuse in order for you to excuse yourself on learning these matters. Hi, my name is Leandro Bauzon. I'm your manager of financial advisors here in the Philippines, and this channel was made to give financial planning a better understanding and also to help financial advisors do their job. I discussed last time about financial planning. Financial planning is yung nandito ka sa lugar na to ngayon and then you wanted to get here. Yung journey papunta doon is journey to financial freedom or financial confidence. Tapos, yung mismong ini-execute doon, it's the financial plan. If ever you haven't watched the video yet about budgeting, I just recently posted it. So, gagawa na lang ako ng link, ilalagay ko sa baba para panoorin ninyo. Let's talk about financial planning. There are two styles kapag ikaw ay gumagawa ng financial plan. It could be the offensive style or the defensive style. If you're going to ask me, I focus on the defensive style, more on offensive style because sa offensive style, ito yung usually and common na ginagawa ng Filipinos. Yung knowledge nila about savings and investing. Ngayon, Gen Z at saka yung millennials, they're really adept pagdating dito sa bagay na to because there are a lot of investment that you can find in the internet. Madali lang din naman mag-invest. So, napapalago talaga nila yung pera nila. And also, marunong naman mag-save ang common Filipino. Alam nila na dapat meron ako mahugot pag kailangan ko. So, when you say offensive, nakafocus ka talaga sa growth ng pera mo. Lahat ng plano mo towards pagpapalago ng pera. On the other hand naman, sa defensive style, it's about protection. So, yung emergency fund mo, yung insurances mo, dyan pumapasok yan. Now, the reason why I chose insurance as my field is because I know na importante na may security account ka. Because there are a lot of uncertain events that might derail you sa mga plano mo kung hindi mo pinoprotektahan yung sarili mo. Na-mention ko to sa budgeting na meron tayong operations account, growth account, and security account. Pag merong isa doon na pumapalya, buong plano mo, hindi matutupad. Kasi kahit palago ka ng pera, biglang nagkaroon ng emergency, lahat ng pinalago mong pera, i-withdraw mo yon just to fund up the emergency. So, it's very important for you to master also the security account. At nagkataon na kaming mga insurance advisors, yun yung focus namin. We don't position it too much pagdating sa growth kasi we know that there are plenty of other investment vehicles that might give you greater return. It's just that, hindi ibig sabihin na greater ang return nun. Mas maganda yon sa mga products pagdating sa security kasi magkaiba sila ng ina-address. According sa Insurance Commission's latest study pagdating sa insurances, ang penetration rate dito sa Pilipinas is nasa 1.7 to 2.8 lang. Ito na yung latest study na na-pull out ko from Gemini. Okay? Imagine that. Kung binurses yung premium na binabayad ng typical Filipinos pagdating sa GDP niya, hindi talaga pina-fund up ng mga tao ang insurances. Hindi naman kailangan mataas to, but it means na hindi talaga pinaprioritize sa mga Pilipino na protektahan yung sarili nila pagdating sa mga financial challenges na pwede nilang kaharapin sa buhay. Yun yung pinaglalaban namin, yun yung advocacy namin. Ngayon, mayroong gap kasi ng awareness tsaka action. Maraming mga tao nalilito kung para sa may insurances. And I cannot deny the fact that some financial advisors are really pushing the products to the point na pinoposition nila yun as a growth account. Kahit na ang main objective naman talaga nito ay protection. Ngayon, may mga tao na bumibili ng insurances pero mali yung pagkakaintindi nila. Tapos, nauuwi yun sa disappointed people kaya napipaint badly kung ano ang insurances. So may mga misconception talaga, may lack of understanding talaga ang Filipinos pagdating sa insurances. And that is the point of this video. I'm going to address it all. Why do you need insurance? Again, pagdating sa security account, may dalawa tayong bagay na tinitingnan dyan. Yung emergency fund mo at saka yung insurances. Ang insurance ay kumukontrata ka sa isang company kung saan magbabayad ka ng premium. Pero ang kapalit nun, kapag may triggering event, may specific event na nangyari sa'yo, instead na ikaw yung gagastos, sila na yung gagastos, tas multiple folds pa yung coverage mo. If ever man na-insure mo ang isang pangyayari, emergencies that will happen in your life, yung pinupondohan mong emergency fund, mas na-free siya para sa isang bagay na hindi mo pa na-insure. So, yun yung parang pinaka-point. Pinapaganda natin yung security account mo. Ipapaliwanag ko lang sa'yo, ano ba yung mga uncertain events na nangyayari sa buhay ng tao? Health, death, wealth, tsaka others. Doon muna tayo sa health. Bakit ini-insure ang health? Ang health ay pwedeng makategorize into hospitalization emergencies or critical illness emergency. Itong dalawang bagay na to, pag nangyari sa'yo at wala kang kahit anong pondo, or at least may pondo ka na sa growth account man, ipo-pull out mo yan kasi hindi mo pwedeng pabayaan yung sarili mo. May dalawang uri ng insurances. The first one is hospitalization. So, ibig sabihin, common illness yan, bigla kang sinugod sa ospital, di ba gagastos ka ng pera? So, pwede mong gamitin yung emergency fund mo, pero kapag kumuha ka na ng hospitalization insurance, hindi na babawasan yung emergency fund mo. Tapos may sumasagot ng hospitalization mo. Okay? Now, maswerte ka kapag yung trabaho mo may HMO card. Kasi yung HMO, yun yung hospitalization insurance. Ibig sabihin, may coverage ka. Hanggat hindi ka lumalampas sa ganitong annual benefit limit, sasagutin namin yan. But not all employees have that. Business owners don't have that. Diba? Freelancers. I'm not really sure sa freelancers may iba may HMO. But the point is, you should have one. And it's up to you kung kukuha ka ba sa company mo o kukuha ka ng private. Now, there are some employees na merong hospitalization insurance masyado namang mababa. Let's just say 90,000 yung coverage ng kanilang HMO, pero nagkasakit ka ng 200,000 worth of bills. So, saan mo kukunin yung 110? Eh, di ba sa either emergency fund mo? Eh, paano kung wala ka ng emergency fund? Kasi nga, growth-oriented ka lang, ayaw mo ng security. Eh, di, lahat ng inipon mo mababawas. Di ba? Eh, paano pag ready ka na bumili ng plano mo? Kunyari, kotse yun. Papatayo ka na ng bahay. Bigla ka nagkasakit. Maunahin mo yung bahay mo. Ngayon, ano naman pinakaiba niya sa typical health insurance? Yun yung critical illness coverage. Ang ina-address ng critical illness insurance is kapag nagkaroon ka lang ng critical condition. Cancer, heart attack, stroke, yan yung most common in the Philippines. But there are plenty of other critical illness. Usually, ito yung mga nasa ICU na. Ang pangako ng health insurance sa'yo is kapag na-diagnose ka ng ganong sakit, magpe-pay out sila ng pera. Usually, millions yan. Hundreds of thousands. So, ibig sabihin, hindi kayo papagamot like hospitalization insurance na card. But, magbibigay sila ng pera sa'yo. It's up to you kung saan mo siya gagamitin. Kung umabot man yung payout na yun, bago pa dumating yung bill mo sa hospital, gamitin mo pambayad. But basically, ang ini-insure niya talaga is, kapag nagka-critical illness kasi ang isang tao, hindi siya makakapag-work. Eh, paano kung siya yung breadwinner? Sino magpapakain sa pamilya niya kung hindi paid yung sick leave niya? Para doon yung critical illness. Yung pera na yon pang support sa lahat ng mga maging expenses niya, medication niya, etc. O kaya, yung sa mismong pamilya niya, para doon yun. So, magkaiba si hospitalization insurance at si critical illness. Masasabi mo ba sa sarili mo na hindi ka magkakasakit ever? If you can say yes, maybe you don't need this. Enough na sa emergency fund. Pero if you can see the risk of it, this is good for you. Kasi ang insurance naman is risk management eh. Security account nga to eh. Okay? Now, let's move on to death. Death naman is something na inevitable. Lahat ng tao mamamatay. Pero hindi naman lahat ng tao mamamatay na. We just don't know when this will happen. Kaya kumukuha ng life insurance ng tao, it's because it's for the surviving family members. Pagpalagay natin na ikaw lang ang breadwinner, whether you are a father or parent, mother, na ikaw yung kumikita na malaki kaya ikaw nagsusupport sa buong pamilya mo. Or, ikaw yung anak, pero ikaw ang inaasahan ng buong pamilya kasi ikaw yung kumikita. Let's just say, bigla kang na-deads. So, anong mangyayari? Pagpalagay natin na pinalibing ka ng family mo kasi may ilan silang savings, etc. But what will happen to the income na pinapasok mo? Ikaw ang bumubuhay sa kanila. 'Di ba? Para dun yung life insurance. Sinisecure niya na continuous yung income kahit wala na si breadwinner. So, yun yung life insurances. Yung burial naman, ito yung para mga St. Peter. Kasi kapag na-death ang isang tao, may gastos yan eh. Yung kabaong, yung pagpapalibing, etc. Hindi naman lahat yan sasagutin ng LGU eh. Siguro, tent at saka mga upuan, not really sure, ilang donation, but it won't cover up the entire burial services. So, may mga insurances about burials. Okay? So, ngayon, gastos yan. Kaya kailangan siya pinaghahandaan. Next, wealth. Sa wealth naman, mayroong two important things na kailangan yung matutunan. na pwede mag-derail ng plano nyo pag hindi nyo pinaghandaan. Education ng anak. Sa education ng anak, kasi ganito yun eh, pag nagkaanak ang isang tao, of course, mahalaga sa kanya yung anak niya. Gusto niya magkaroon ng good education. Good thing na gumaganda na yung program natin sa education sa government, kaya up to college, meron ng libre. Pero hindi lang naman natatapos sa tuition ang gastos kapag nagpapaaral. Pati yung baon ng mga anak mo, yung mga libro, uniform, etc. So let's just say na hindi mo ito pinagandaan kasi nga growth oriented ka, gusto mo lang mag-invest kasi may mga plano ka for yourself. Pero, pag papunta ng college, lalo na sa college, yung anak mo, kung saan pinakamalaki yung gastos, siguradong mababawasan niya lahat ng growth account mo at madidelay lahat ng plano mo for yourself is because mapupunta na sa anak. So, nagdi-design kami ng mga investment na sinisecure niya, mini-make sure niya na papunta lang tong pondo na to para sa mga anak niya. Ngayon, bakit maganda na insurance? VUL kasi yung tawag sa amin ito eh. Insurance yung paglagyan mo ng pera. Kasi ang malaking difference niya, pag sa VUL mo siya nilagay, kapag biglang may nangyari sa'yo na deaths, kunyari yung policy owner, yung pera na yon ay automatic mapupunta sa beneficiary or sa trust ng owner. Tapos, may aala talaga yun sa education. Tax-free pa yun. Okay? Which is, if you are going to compare it to the typical investment of a person, kasi pinapalago niya yung pera, pag bigla siyang na-deads, hindi na automatic mabibigay sa anak ng tax-free. Kasi magbabayad ng estate tax yung anak eh. Tapos, pwedeng ma-freeze pa yung account hanggang hindi pa nasa-settle yon. So, malaking difference yon. So, more on the security portion talaga si VUL. Same with retirement. Pag hindi ka nagplano ng retirement mo, kasi sa retirement, hindi ka naman yung mayaman dyan eh. Babagsak nga yung income mo kasi hindi ka nagtatrabaho eh. So, pagka hindi ka nagtatrabaho, saan mo kukunin yung mga panggastos mo araw-araw? Ang typical na nangyayari sa Filipinos is inaasahan yung anak. But would you like your son and daughters to be the one in charge of you? Paano naman yung buhay nila? Paano sila makakapag-start? Kaya siya nagiging cycle. Okay? So, that's what we are preventing. So, yun yung parang pinopropose na position ng mga insurance advisor. Kasi, if you fund up your retirement as early as now, definitely, at the time of your retirement, meron kang mapaghuhugutan. And some projects, important din yan. So, well, kung gusto mo ipamanage yan, VUL yung option mo, we can do that. Again, ang VUL would promise growth as well. Hindi lang siya kasing bilis at kasing volatile ng mga typical investment na diretso. Like diretso nag-invest sa stock market, diretso nag-invest sa cryptocurrencies, sa gold, sa real estate. Kasi si VUL, you need to pay for the insurance portion of it. Pero malaking pangako naman niya, pag biglang na-deaths yung owner, lahat ng ipon, converted yan into life insurance. And if it will be passed to the beneficiary, walang tax yun. Automatic yung pera. Death certificate lang yung kailangan, proof of death, mabibigay na. Unlike pagka kunyari real estate yung pinag-investan mo. Dahil hindi insurance yan, frozen yung account kasi namatay yung owner. And in order na mapasa yung ownership sa mga heirs, they need to pay estate taxes. So, di ba, magkaiba yung perspective. And last but not least, others, sa lifestyle yan, yung protection mo sa lifestyle. May kotse ka, para pagka kunyari nasira yung kotse mo, pagka wala kang insurance sa kotse, gagastusin mo kung magkano man yung ipon mo sa iba. O sa growth account yon, sa emergency fund. Diba? Ang aim ng insurance is bawasan ng bawasan yung mga aalalahanin mo pa. Kaya peace of mind yung parang pinaka-motive ng insurances eh. It's because of that. Same with pets. Pag nagkasakit yung mga pets mo, house mo, pag biglang binaha o kaya nasunog. Pagka nag-travel ka, business insurance. There are plenty of type of insurances. Pero ang aim niya is security. Nasa security account siya. Binabawasan niya yung pwedeng mong gastusan because we wanted na ma-free yung pera mo sa emergency as much as possible. And we wanted to free your fund sa growth account kung may mga pinaplano ka for your legacy or for your freedom fund. At we don't want na magalaw yung living expenses mo. Kaya tinuro ko sa budgeting yung different accounts at kung paano dapat i-manage yung pera. Again, if ever hindi mo pa napapanood yon, yung link nasa baba, you could click that so that you could learn kung paano nagbabudget dapat. Now, moving on, let's discuss paano ba gagawa ng magandang insurances. So, whether you are a financial advisor, this could be helpful. If you are just a regular Filipino that, oo nga no, pinag-iisipan ko, alin ba, paano ba binubuo to? Okay, let's discuss it one by one. Doon tayo sa health coverage muna. Pag-usapan natin yung everything about health. Make sure na ang objective mo, first, is meron kang coverage sa hospitalization. Kasi yan yung pinaka-possible na mangyari. Any sickness kasi yan eh. Kagating ka lang ng aso, magpapaturo ka sa rabies. O sumakit yung tiyan mo, hindi mo makaya, isusugod ka sa emergency room. Okay, bigla kang na-aksidente, kailangan mo ospital. So, lahat ng mga bagay na yan about hospitalization. You should have coverage on that. Again, pag wala ka, kukunin mo sa emergency fund yan. Pero if ever man kumontrata ka sa insurance company, you pay for a premium, pwedeng monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, or annual man yan. Pero ang promise nila sa'yo, pag ikaw ay nagkasakit, we will be giving you coverage, which is hundreds of thousands. Okay? The next is for you to have critical illness. Kasi ang critical illness, hindi naman natin malalaman kung sino. Hindi naman natin nasasabi na sa matatanda lang yan. Kasi there are a lot of reports na kahit bata pa pwedeng magkasal ng critical illness. And pag critical illness yung condition mo, usually hindi ka nakakapag-work. And pag hindi ka nakakapag-work, wala ka pera. So if ever man you want to have a good health coverage, kailangan may critical illness coverage ka pa rin. Pero at least alam mo na yung pala yung essence nun. Okay? Next is hospital income benefit. Kung may hospitalization insurance ka na, ibig sabihin, kapag nagkasakit ka, nasa hospital ka, nakaratay ka sa hospital bed, hindi mo naiindahin yung gastos kasi meron kong coverage. Pero dahil hindi ka nakakapasok, paano pag hindi paid yung sick leave mo? So, kakailanganin mo ng income, unti-unti. Eh, hindi naman critical illness yun. Hindi naman nag-pay out yung critical coverage mo. So, anong gagawin mo? At least kahit paano dahil kumikita ako. Yun yung hospital income benefit. Yung daily hospitalization income na nakikita nyo sa mga insurances, para doon yun. Parang kada araw na ikaw ay nasa ospital, may ibibigay na total amount yung insurance company. Usually, nasa-settle yan pag more than 4 days kang nasa ospital, tapos na-discharge ka na. Yung mga nawalang, bibilangan yung araw, kung ilang araw kang nasa ospital, and then, may equivalent money yun, ibibigay sa'yo. And then last but not least, accident insurance. So, pag accident na pinag-uusapan natin, tas insurance company, it is supposed to be total and permanent. Ibig sabihin, kunyari, nawalan ka ng isang mata, naputol yung kamay mo, something like that, permanent na. Okay? Tapos, hindi na siya gagaling. Kapag accident insurance yung meron ka, bawat katawan mo ay percentage. Tapos, yung percentage ng coverage mo, mag-pay out. Kung 1 million yung coverage mo, tapos kunyari isang mata na wala, 50% yun, so makakatanggap ng 500,000. So, that's how it works. So, ang good health coverage, merong hospitalization, priority yan. Critical illness is a good coverage, pero at least alam mo kung para saan siya. We do have the hospital income, yung araw-araw nakita. And then last but not the least, yung accident na benefit. Now, let's move on to income protection or legacy planning. ST planning, tawag ng iba. Ang pagbuo ng magandang income protection will start with the liquidity. Kaya magandang mag-ipon or magkaroon ng life insurance. It's because ang promise nito, kapag may sudden demise na deaths, yung amount na to ay non-taxable, automatic mapapasa sa beneficiary. Hindi siya kagaya ng ibang assets mo na ma-freeze, kailangan nyo pang asikasuhin, magbayad ng SC tax just for you to get that property. Plus, multiple falls to. Sobrang mura ng life insurance. If ever man you know an advisor, look for someone, tapos sabihin mo, you are looking for a traditional life insurance, masusurprise ka, sobrang baba lang na presyo nito kumpara sa pangako na amount. Bakit nila nagagawa yun? It's because naka-invest yung mga pera ninyo pag pinasok nyo sa insurance company. And inaasahan ng insurance company naman na hindi naman mamamatay lahat ng kumuha. So they could promise high amount. Okay? So there are plenty of strategies para magamit ang life insurance. Okay? But that is the main purpose. Ngayon, adequacy. Kailangan alam mo kung magkano yung amount. Pagpalagay natin ikaw si breadwinner, tapos bigla kang nawala. You wanted to support your family para makabangon sila. If you think within 3 years na sinusuplayan mo sila ng income, yung amount na yon could definitely help them para makabangon na, eh di 3 years of your annual salary, yun yung proper amount sa'yo. But the usual average is 5 years. Yun yung recommended sa amin. So kung kumikita ka ng 200,000 a year, eh di ibig sabihin at least 1 million dapat yung coverage mo. Okay? And other matters, yung legacy mo. So, ngayon, kung living expenses nila, naisip mo, amounting to 1 million na, eh alam mo may mag-aaral ka pang kapatid o kaya meron ka pang mga ibang susuportahan, may papagawa pang bahay. Kukumputin yon. Tapos, yung amount na yon, yun yung pwedeng gawin mong life insurance. Para no matter what happens, bigla ka ma-deaths, may iwan ka sa pamilya mo. Okay? Now, retirement coverage naman tayo. Ano ang design ng magandang retirement? Siyempre, alam mo kung anong age ka magre-retire. Pagpalagi natin gusto mag-retire at 50, the average age for life expectancy ng Filipinos is 80 years old. So, dapat, yung retirement mo, enough siya na makakasurvive ka from 51 hanggang 80 years old. That's 30 years. Okay, so compute mo yung living expenses, considering the inflation pa. Kasi syempre, yung pera na iniipon mo, iba yung value niyan in the future, mas mababa na. Okay? So that is the minimum adequate amount for your retirement plan. Ngayon, kung meron kang plano pagdating sa retirement mo, gusto mo nag-travel ka na lang, gusto mo may business ka, o kaya nagpo-pursue ka ng hobby mo, you have to consider that as well. Kasi kukumputin mo kung magkano yung total na kailangan mo for retirement, yun yung pag-iipunan mo. Next, educational fund. If ever you are planning for education of your children, kailangan alam mo kung saan sila mag-aaral. Ano ba yung usually na gastos? Iko-consider ng advisor dyan kung magkano yung increase taon-taon. So, may mga estimate lang din para malaman mo kung magkano yung goal amount mo. So, masasabi mo lang na adequate siya pagka, kunyari, lahat ng mga pwedeng gastos nasa isip mo na at yun yung pinag-iipunan mong value. At magkakaiba pa yan per anak ha. Okay? Kaya nadadagdagan talaga at nadadagdagan yung insurance ng isang tao. Kaya nga tinuro ko na the best way in order for you to create a plan is to do it by percentage. Yung budgeting mo na, itong percentage na to, sure na to, insurance na to. Kasi habang lumalaki yung income mo, lumalaki rin yung allotment sa insurance. 'Di ba? Marami tao ngayon kumuha ng isang insurance, okay na ako eh. Pero the question is, secured ka na ba in all emergencies of life? So, yun yung reason kung bakit financial freedom journey yung tawag doon. Yun yung reason kung bakit taon-taon kailangan mag-usap kayo ng advisor mo. Next, major investment planning. Sa major investment planning naman, this is optional. Kasi there are plenty of investment vehicle out there naman na mas mataas pa yung return. Kasi focus sa growth to eh. Pero kung defensive style ka na, hindi gusto mo protected, at least kung yung plano ko for myself hindi mapunta sa akin, gusto ko mapunta na lang sa anak ko. Best talaga yung VUL kasi magiging automatic life insurance yun eh. Tapos yung value na yun, kung hindi mo pa nare-reach yung pinag-ipunan mo, may malaking sum insured ang life insurance eh. Mo automatic yung bigay. Non-taxable pa. Diba? Okay? But if ever you're coming up with a project na pupondohan, you have to be smart about this. So specific dapat yung project na yon, measurable, alam mo kung magkano yung iniipon mo, attainable. Okay? So tatanungin mo na lang si advisor, kaya bang abutin tong amount na to? Kung sinabi ng advisor hindi, at least may projection siya, magkano yung maaabot ng ipon mo sa VUL. Next ay realistic. Baka mamaya sobrang laki naman ng gusto mo, tapos hindi naman pala kaya ng nilalagay mo. Kunya gusto mo magkaroon ng 10 million, pero 1,000 na yung bibigay mo. Hindi namin mapapalago yung pera nyo ng gano'n. And then, time bound. Ito ang suggestion ko sa inyo ha. If you are going to get an insurance with investment plan sa isang insurance company or VUL, the target period should be more than 10 years. Kasi based on my experience in mga nagawa kong policies, usually, nagpapakita yung return ng VUL more than 10 years na. Malas mo pagka kunyari nandun sa time na kailangan mo yung pera, bumagsak yung market at apektuhan yung investment mo. But usually, nagkakaroon ng market correction within that span of period. Kaya, medyo safe na. Ngayon, to avoid yung matalo, yung investment mo, you have to have at least once a year conversation with a financial advisor to give you updates kung ano yung nangyayari. Hindi naman na mahuhula ng advisor yun the moment na binentahan ka niya. Kung sure to. Ang kaya lang namin ipakita sa inyo is based on the trend, ito yung nangyayaring return ng mga invested amount sa particular fund na to. And that could help you kung gusto mo bang ipasok yung pera mo sa investment na yun or hindi. But similar with any growth accounts na investment vehicle, ganun lang din naman yung pangako nila. Okay, you have to be clear at naiintindihan dapat yan, whether point of view ni client or ni advisor, na yun ang design ng insurance natin. Yung merong investment, yung VUL. More on security siya instead of growth. If ever man you want to maximize your insurance, there are riders na tinutukoy sa insurance, na tinuturo sa insurance company, ibig sabihin additional benefits yan. Na for additional premium, additional na bayad, mas lalaki yung magagandang benefits, yung coverages ng plan mo. Mayroong mga health-related, kung saan yung hospital income, yung tinuro ko kanina, pwede siyang ilagay doon. Pwede rin magkaroon ng mas mataas na life insurance. Kasi mayroong mga insurance na, alam mo yung 5-in-1, 14-in-1, 13-in-1, ganun niya ito ginagawa. Meron lang isang main plan, kinakabitan niya lang ng different riders. So meron mga riders na kapag nagka-critical illness ka, doon mag-pay out. Pero original plan mo is hindi naman critical illness. So lahat yan pwedeng i-modify. Hindi default yan. Kung makita man kayo sa social media na nagpropose ng ganyan, 14-in-1, etc. ganyan, pag-isipan nyo mabuti kung kailangan nyo ba lahat yung coverage na yon. Kasi kung kunyari, pinagsama-sama talaga nila lahat sa isang plan yan, ibig sabihin, mababa yung mga coverages na nakakabit. Or kung sakali man, parang ganito lang yan, yung logic. Kung may 10 piso kayong nilalagay sa investment nyo dapat. Nagbayad kayo ng insurances, naging 9 pesos na lang. Bumili pa kayo ng mga riders, so ibig sabihin, lagyan mo ng critical illness, naging 8 pesos na lang. Lagyan mo ng ganito, daily hospitalization income, naging 7 pesos na lang. Lagyan mo ng additional life insurance pa, naging 6 pesos na lang. So ibig sabihin, yung pinapalagong pera ng insurance company, lumiliit. Pero insured ka sa mas maraming bagay. 'Di ba? Kaya at the end of, kunyari 10 years, ganyan, magtataka ka, bakit ang baba ng pera ko? It's because marami kang binayaran. So, kailangan you sit down with the client if you're an advisor or you sit down with your advisor kung ikaw ay isang uh, prospect client. You talk about that, kung paano i-modify yung insurance mo para yung expectation mo naka-level. And remember, there is always fund switching. So, ibig sabihin, kaya kayo nag-uusap periodically ng iyong advisor, it's because you have the power to change kung saan naka-invest yung pera mo. So parang sa growth account, kung diretso ka nag-invest doon, pwede mo naman ilipat-lipat. Actually, sa mga VUL products naman ng insurance, pwede mo rin siyang ilipat-lipat. Kung sakaling may extra pera ka, pwede ka mag-top up. Ibig sabihin, dagdagan mo pa yung investment mo nang hindi kailangan bayaran ng ibang insurances or riders na nakakabit. And also, pwede ka rin mag-withdraw because this is your money. Kaso nga lang, I don't advise you to withdraw at least for the first 10 years. Usually, may charge yan and all. Kaya ang design talaga ng VUL is the defensive style approach, security, yung main, tapos yung mga alam namin na pangmalayuan lang like retirement and education. And last but not the least, lifestyle protection. So it depends kung ano man yung gusto mong protektahan. It could be car, it could be business, it could be your travel, it could be personal accident, it could be your house, your condo. So ang point lang is kapag yun yung gastos, kami na bahala. Parang ganun yun. So different contracts yan. Maraming types ng insurances. Aim ng video is for you to understand why insurance is important. The defensive style approach pagdating sa pera. If you want to strategize, depende mo yun sa capacity mo. Are you the type of person na kayang umoffense na umoffense kasi ang dami mong pera? So go for different investment vehicle. But if you're starting and you want it to be secured para kung darating man na you will be capable enough para mag-fund ng different types of investment, hindi ka madiderail. Hindi magugulo yung plano mo kasi merong tumatakbo for your security. Again, there are 3 important categories na kailangan mong alagaan if you really wanted to achieve financial freedom and confidence. To secure the operations account, to secure the security account, and to secure the growth account. So, lahat yan importante. So, legit na yung services ng isang financial advisor could really help Filipinos. Again, if you're liking everything that I'm saying, you wanted to apply it to yourself, congratulations. You wanted help, you could contact me or my financial advisors in my unit. Ngayon, na-appreciate mo lahat ng mga tinuro, you wanted to practice this kind of profession, part-time man yan or full-time, you may contact me because I'm looking for financial advisors. Thank you.